Hey, the Blue fans, do you know that Chelsea broke a record this season? Yes, we broke a record this season. But do you know what? This is not the kind of record we like to hear. They say that Chelsea just made a pre-tax deficit of £342 million, and that's huge. Very, very huge. Let me tell you why it's huge. I had to go deeper to check the kind of clubs that came closer to Chelsea's this kind of deficit. And I discovered that Everton had £139 million in 2021-2022 season, 139. And immediately after that, Man U got £150 million in that same 2021-2022 season. And again, Arsenal gets £127 million in 2020-2021 season. And these are the three clubs that came very close to Chelsea. Meanwhile, Chelsea in just one season, we are having almost £342 million. That's very huge. Very, very huge. And there are consequences for that. If Chelsea fails to balance it within 3 years, there will be penalties for that. What caused this deficit? That's the next question. The deficit as a result of the money we lavish in buying players. Remember, the other time Chelsea spent almost on the tune of 1.4 billion in buying players like Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Sterling, and all that. And unfortunately, after buying all those players, you could not sell huge players that was able to give us big amount of money. So Chelsea were spending huge in wages, the players' wages, and that was why Chelsea started buying younger players in order to balance the kind of wages they spend. If not, Chelsea would have entered into a bigger problem. So that's another idea Chelsea adopted to crash the thing down. Unfortunately, Chelsea is now also having some income. Their revenues were poor because the stadium was small, and you know Chelsea Stadium is somehow a rented stadium. So all these things contributed to Chelsea's having a very big pre-tax deficit. Now, what do you think the way forward for Chelsea? Chelsea is planning. The other time, coach was mentioning priority of Chelsea is to qualify, that they must qualify for Champions League. If Chelsea qualifies for Champions League, it will crash that money down. Chelsea will get at least between 30 to 100 million pounds for just qualifying for the Champions League. And that is why it's important for Chelsea to qualify for Champions League. Mind you, Chelsea carried last season FIFA Club World Cup and carry even the European Conference Cup. And those two cups help Chelsea to even crash that pre-tax deficit down. So if Chelsea carries another cup this season, definitely it will go down. But Champions League is one target they are heading on, bringing the deficit down. You get? So if Chelsea fails to do this, the penalty is the number of players that will go for Champions League will reduce. They will cut down the number of players that will be registered for Champions League. They will restrict Chelsea in buying players. They will restrict the kind of money they will go. Again, I forgot to tell you this. Chelsea had a penalty fine they paid last season, UEFA. So that one, I think that's something million pounds. That's also what contributed to that shooting of £342 million deficit. So if Chelsea fail to balance this again, there will be another fine probably to pay. So these are all the kind of things that led Chelsea in having this kind of deficit. To be sincere, that money is huge, is very, very huge. But there is no cost for alarm. Why? Because Chelsea have a longer time to balance this, and they will definitely balance it. You get that? So don't panic. There is still time ahead for Chelsea to get it right. Whenever there is play, there will be stories to tell. Bye.